Hello, my name is Alexander Amaya, and this is the video for the final submission for the socket project for fall 2021. And so the first thing I want to mention is that I will be using General 3, General 4, and General 5 to do this demonstration. So that's 3 different end hosts as per the requirements. And so let's go ahead and compile the server and peer programs. I'm using Python, so there's not compilation, but let's go ahead and start the server process. So we launch server.py with this flag that I added, which specifies a server port. And this port is within my allotted ports on group 33. And so when we start the server, it prints out its IP and its port, and then it waits for more input. And so this one was on General 3, so let's go over here to General 4, where I'm going to start my first client. As you can see, I've kind of named the tabs up here to keep track of the client names in the server. And so let's start the client script with this flag here, specifies the server IP and the server port. This flag here specifies the client name, and this flag here specifies the port that the client will be running on. So this is the left port, the right port, and then the query port. So if we go ahead and start Pluto, we can see that it specifies where the server's at, its own name, its address, and its left, right, and query ports. And I made this script automatically register with the server when the client starts up, so you can see that it received a success from the server for the registration, and you can see that the server here sent Pluto a register response of success. So let's go ahead and start Mars. Mars is on General 4 as well. We can do start the client, same thing for the server, new name for Mars, and new ports. And we can see all its information here. It received success, got successfully registered. And let's do the same thing for Earth, which is also in General 4. So we have the client name Earth and its address and the new ports. Okay, so now that 3 clients are successfully registered, let's set up the DHT. So if we go over here to Pluto, which we want to make our leader, we do setup DHT 3 Pluto for a DHT size of 3. Okay, so when I enter that command, it successfully receives client's information from Mars and Earth, saying that it successfully set up its part of the DHT. We sent the DHT complete message to the server, and we received success. So let's look at the server real quick. We can see that the server has the size of the DHT and says the DHT complete. Success back to Pluto. Now if we look at the other 2 clients, we can see that the other 2 clients specify their DHT right and left clients, which is Earth and Pluto, and the size of the DHT down here, which is 3, and its own DHT ID, which in this case for Mars is 1, and if we come over here to Earth, its ID is 2, still the same size, and you can see its left and right DHT members. Okay, so now we come over here to Venus, which is a new client that hasn't been registered yet. This one is on General 5, so it's on that 3rd client. And so let's start this one up, and you can see it received success from the server. Server successfully registered it, and so now we can use this client to query the DHT. So if we query DHT for something like Aruba, we can see that it was successfully found. Aruba was the server randomly chooses which client in the ring to start at, and so it's just so happened to start at Mars. We can see that it looked for Aruba, couldn't find it, got forwarded to Earth, looked for Aruba, couldn't find it, got forwarded to Pluto, and it looked for Aruba here, it found Aruba, and then it sent that information and all of the fields that were in the CSV file back to Venus, and it was found. So let's do another successful one so I can show you again. Let's search for Georgia, and we can see that Georgia was found. So it looked for Georgia, got forwarded to Mars, looked for Georgia, found Georgia within Mars, and got sent back to Venus. So second successful query. Now I'll show you a query that shouldn't work, which is the query DHT, and let's do something like Arizona. It's not going to be in there. Yeah, so you can see that Arizona is not found in the DHT, and let's come over here. We can see that it started at Mars. It looked for Arizona, couldn't find it, got forwarded to Earth, looked for Arizona, couldn't find it, got forwarded back to Pluto, looking for Arizona, because that's kind of the end of the ring, and then sent the message that Arizona was not found in the DHT. Okay, now let's go on to decreasing the size of the DHT. So let's take Mars here and make it exit the DHT. So I'm going to do leave DHT Mars, and we can see that it received a success from the server saying that Mars is allowed to leave the DHT. It tore down the DHT, it tore down its local DHT, reset the IDs, reset the left and right DHT members, and then sent the DHT rebuild command to the new leader. So we can see all of this. So we can see that the new IDs for the DHT, we have the new size and new ID, and we have the new left and right members, which is Pluto because it's only size 2, and it received success to build the DHT because the DHT leader gets passed to the right, which in this case was Earth, and the DHT was successfully rebuilt. Pluto, we can also see that it got the new size, its new DHT ID is 1, and its left and right is Earth. So I did add a print command so you can see that Mars's DHT is now empty, whereas something like Pluto is going to be a big mess, but Pluto does have something in it. And so Mars is out of the DHT, and we can use it to query. So let me show you a successful query. Query DHT, we'll look for Aruba again. It was found. Let's see, it was looked for Aruba within the Earth client, and it found it, got sent it back to Mars. Let's do another successful one. Query DHT, we'll search for something like Guam. Guam, it was looking for Guam in its Earth, got forwarded to Pluto. I'm sorry for the mess, but it looked for Guam here, and it found Guam. Okay, so now if we go back to Mars, let's do an unsuccessful query. So if we query the DHT for something like, the state of Florida, we can see that Florida was not found in the DHT. It looked for Florida here, and it couldn't find it. It also looked for Florida here and forwarded to Earth, which then couldn't find it, and sent the message back to Mars. Okay, so now that the successful and unsuccessful queries have been demonstrated, I'm going to then add Mars back to the DHT. So if I do join DHT Mars, we can see that it sends the signal to the other DHT members to tear down the DHT, and it has the new size of DHT, which has been increased to 3. If you think about the DHT kind of like a linked list, it kind of gets added in at the end and then gets wrapped to the front, so its ID is now 2, with Pluto being to the right and Earth being to the left, which kind of makes sense. And it sets the left and right DHT members of these two so that Mars gets looped in. It sets its IDs, and it sends the DHT rebuild to the new leader, which in this case would be Pluto. So, if we go to Earth, we can see that the DHT right is now Mars again, DHT left is Pluto, the new size is 3, its own ID is 1, and the DHT size for Pluto is now 3, it's now the leader. It got rebuilt, so it sent the rebuild command to the server, which then was successful, and the DHT got rebuilt to include all 3 of these. So now if we look at the server real quick, we can see that it did print out a statement that says that Mars is joining the DHT. And let me go over to Venus again, and I will query the DHT for, I'll do Aruba again. You can see that Aruba was found in Pluto. Yeah. And then so if we query the DHT again for something like Georgia. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Georgia, it was successfully found. It was looking for Georgia, got forwarded to Earth. Looking for Georgia and Earth, found Georgia. and got sent back to Venus. That's the successful message. Okay, so now you kind of saw it earlier, but I'll do a failure query DHT for, we'll do Arizona again. Arizona is not found. We can see that it was looking for Arizona here, it got forwarded to Mars, looking for Arizona here, got forwarded to Pluto, looking for Arizona and Pluto, couldn't find it, and sent that message back to Venus. Okay, so now that I've shown leave and join with successful and unsuccessful queries, I will gracefully terminate the application. So first thing we have to do is go to the leader and do the teardown DHT command with the leader. Okay, so you can see that it's after I put that command in, it sent the message to the server saying that teardown was initiated, and we can see that it got a success from that. So then it started to tear down the local DHT, and it sent that message around the ring. So Earth started tearing down its local DHT, Mars tore down its local DHT, and now the total DHT teardown should be complete, so that it messages the server again saying that it's done. The server now says that the teardown is complete, and that gets sent back as a success, and then I just printed success that the teardown is now complete. So I went around the ring, tore everything down, and confirmed that with the server. Okay, so now for all the clients, I will do the deregistration process. So if I do deregister Pluto, you can see that the client was successfully deregistered and it exited to the terminal. We can see over here that the server deregistered Pluto. So now let me deregister all the other clients. Deregister Earth. Deregister Mars. And we will deregister Venus. And we go back to server, we can see that it deregistered the rest of them. They were all gracefully exited to the terminal, and I have to explicitly terminate the server process. And so that's it. Thank you.